Hey guys, this is RST instructor Chris Tyler back again with this week's tour analysis, and the world #1 player is back at it again. Rory Mcilroy gets a 7-shot victory at this week's Wells Fargo Championships, so congratulations to Rory. We're going to be going through some setup adjustments between the driver and iron play. I'm going to show you some of the distinct differences. I'm also going to show you a really cool close-up of Rory's hips and how he's able to stall them and actually make them go backwards in the hitting area. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so those of you that are joining us on our YouTube channel, and before I get started with today's analysis on some driver setup adjustments versus stock shots, I'm going to show you guys a preview of a premium video that we have on our website called the Hip Spinners Belt Buckle Drill. And at the end of that, you'll have a chance to click over to the site, sign up for a free membership, see that entire video, and where you'll have access to 3 or 4 more hours of great biomechanics-based instruction. And remember, if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button below. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those up and I'll help you out as best I can. Let's get started. Alright guys, so as I said in the opener, we're going to be focusing in on a couple of the setup adjustments that we would make from a stock iron shot format over to a driver swing. I'm going to show you some of those things that from an address position all the way down into the impact zone, some of the differences that these positions will cause. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Over on the left-hand side, obviously, we've got a driver swing. You're going to see a much wider base here. Okay, much wider base. You're also going to see a little change in ball positions. So I'm going to draw lines up from the center of the ankles on both sides. You're going to see that he is roughly 2 inches outside of neutral joint alignment on both sides. Ball position is pretty much perfect as far as where the bottom of the swing arc is going to be. You can see it's off of his left ear. And he's made a slight adjustment with a driver swing here. So you can see the ball position is just a slight amount forward of where he would be playing an iron swing. Now this is, contrary to what you've probably heard on a lot of golf instruction in the past, saying always off the left heel. He's just made a small adjustment here. He's just moved it maybe a ball and a half forward. And again, modern day equipment set up for very high launch conditions with very low spin. So with these setup changes, I want you to pay really close attention to one critical area of the golf swing here. All right, and then we're going to get to the fun stuff. I'm going to show you guys his hips, how they work. All right, so check out axis tilt. This is going to be one of the big differences with going to a wider base here. So let's take a look from an iron swing perspective. Up to the top, maintains axis tilt beautifully, then gets fully seated into the lead side. And then at impact, you're going to see a very stacked up left side here. See how all of the shoulder, the hip, the knee, and the ankle are right on top of each other. And that axis tilt is now just barely outside of his lead knee. Okay, so you can see the spine just facing just outside of his lead knee. Now because he's got such a long ways to shift his weight and we're setting up to create more of an ascending blow on the golf ball, you're going to see a lot more axis tilt here down in the hitting area. So up to the top, you're going to see him shift and load up. And then there's a big, gigantic push to get everything back over to the lead side. A lot of external rotation from his lead leg as well. And then this is where he starts to unload it. And now you can see that this impact position doesn't have his lead shoulder stacked up like it would in the hitting area. And now take a look at the big difference here. You're going to see a lot more secondary axis tilt. Now, the one thing I want you to know is that if you're looking to create more launch or higher drive or ball flight, it's easier to do or to get more secondary axis tilt by going to a wider base. But that doesn't mean I want you to get away from shifting your weight completely over to the lead side. A lot of the tendency is to create this secondary axis tilt is what we want to hang back, and that can create the club coming in very shallow. It can make the club bounce off the ground. I know we've all done that in the past. So you want to always work on transferring your weight. All right, so before I get into showing you guys this awesome look at his hips, a couple of videos that I want you guys to check out is this driver setup adjustments video. These videos are going to be to the right-hand side of the video player. There's a tab that says recommended videos. Just go ahead and click on that. You'll see all the videos populate. There's a Hip Spinners Belt Buckle Drill that's a really good video for those players that keep the hips really spinning hard through the hitting area or even from the top of the swing down. Very good drill in there. I think that's a drill that's often overlooked by a lot of the players, but make sure that you are a hip spinner before you address that because you still want to be able to use those for a lot of power and a lot of speed in your downward move. And then there's a video that's actually called Squeeze the Cheeks. And it kind of sounds funny, but it is based around the glutes and how to use your glutes down in the impact zone for a lot of stability and a lot of power. All right, guys, so let's take a look at this hip action, and you're going to be pretty blown away with how his hips work. Okay, guys, so as I said, I was going to show you a pretty unique view of Rory's hips here. I know there's a lot of talk about how he uses his lower body in the golf swing. And I know that you probably have heard a lot of people talk about his hips actually moving backwards. And this camera angle is actually able to capture that very well. And I'm going to show you that right here pretty quick. So he loads up to the top. So we're going to pay close attention to his belt buckle here in the downward move. You're going to see it start to rotate hard. Okay. So it's rotating. It drops down as he squats. That's going to help leverage the ground. Now it's going to start to move up as he's straightening the lead leg. And then as the club is starting to go down then through the release, he's extending the radius, extending the arc there. That's in turn going to speed the club up. And this is where they stall. And now you're going to see them move backwards. So I'm going to mark the hips here so we can see it. I'm going to mark this belt buckle. So as his hands are passing in front of him here through full extension, you're going to notice that his hips move back. See that move there? That's pretty crazy. That is definitely lower body stability and definitely stalling the hips to a maximum. So I know a lot of you guys have asked what we mean by his hips actually going the other way. Now you can see it here. His hips work back in the other direction as he's at full extension, and that's how he's able to generate a lot of club head speed. He's using the kinetic chain really, really well in his favor. So, all right, guys, again, so just check out driver setup adjustments. There's also the Bomb Your Driver series that's in the video section. Check those out. Lots of great information in there, lots of great data that's going to help you boost up that club head speed and be on your way to playing some awesome golf. Let's get out there and make it a great day.
A lot of golfers have been taught to take their hips and turn them or rotate them from the top of the swing as fast as they can. And for certain types of golf swings, that's necessary. For the original rotary swing, you wanted to feel that you took everything and rotated on the way down, because your arms were in a deep position and they were going to stay there during the downswing, as you were going to primarily motor the downswing with the rotation of the body. Now, that's a great way to play if you're not willing to take the time to learn how to do everything as efficiently as possible and learn to train the arms and hands on what to do with the golf club. So if you're kind of a higher handicap player, don't really like to practice that much, and you're kind of gearing your game towards, I play once or twice a month, I don't really like to hit a lot of balls, don't like to practice so much, that's what the original Rotary Swing or Rotary Swing 1.0 is for. The Rotary Swing Tour, we're seeking optimum efficiency. We're seeking to do everything to the maximum ability of how our body is designed and what it's capable of doing in producing the most efficient, powerful, and safe golf swing that we can. And so in doing that, of course, we've done research in figuring out what segments of the body need to fire in which sequence and how they need to do that during the golf swing to move very efficiently. And one of the things that's perpetually a problem for our better players, and typically golfers who are kind of in the single-digit handicap, at some point or another they take that idea of rotating the hips and getting the hips really open at impact too far. And so they start getting into what we call a hip spinner. And that's basically where somebody goes from the top of the swing and turns their hips as fast as they can. And this causes a couple problems.